Hey, what's up, guys? It's Matt Modi with OddsJam, and hopefully you're like me and you're getting incredibly excited for the NFL season to start. I'm recording this at the end of June, but I'm giving out my best futures bets specifically for the NFC Championship winner. Now, Super Bowl, division, AFC, all that good stuff is going to come out in future videos or previous videos, depending on when you're watching this. But for this video, it is going to be specifically the NFC Championship winner. So I have two tabs up here. I have FanDuel, which lists all the odds in order from greatest, most likely to win versus least likely. Then I have up here the OddsJam website, which has all of the sports books and what they price odds at, but they have it across the board for a bunch of different books. The only difference is right now it's listed in alphabetical order as opposed to order of most likely to least likely. So I like having both up in conjunction so I can see the teams that are the most likely on FanDuel, and then I can look at what odds they have across the board using OddsJam. So it's a nice way to look at both. And right off the bat, I mean, no surprise here. The Bucs pretty heavy favorites at plus 320, with the Packers the next closest team tied with the Rams at plus 500. So I'm going to talk about a bunch of different categories. I'm going to talk about the favorites, which in this case there's a pretty clear top three favorites. I'm going to talk about value picks, which I think are pretty much the next two, 49ers and Cowboys. And then I'm going to talk about absolute long shot odds, which pretty much goes from the Eagles down. Now, starting off with the Buccaneers. Clear favorites, no surprise here. I will say, my biggest concern with the Bucs is the fact that they have a rookie head coach. So I looked this up. Only two rookie head coaches have won the Super Bowl, or I guess only two head coaches have won the Super Bowl in their first year coaching. And the last time a team did that was George Seifert in the 80s coaching the 49ers. So nobody has done that since. Now, mostly when a new coach takes over a team, it's because the previous coach has been fired and that team sucks, to be blunt. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers, obviously that's not the case. This is a Super Bowl caliber roster, a Super Bowl caliber coaching staff aside from the head coach, because I don't think that they have a bad head coach by any means. I think Todd Bowles is a great head coach. I think he got a little bit of a bad reputation from when he coached the Jets. I think he's a great head coach, and they still have offensive coordinator Byron Leftwich, who I think is a really good coach. So I don't to be clear, I don't think the Bucs have a bad coaching staff. There's just never been a coach that has won the Super Bowl his first year coaching a team, again, since the 80s. So Bowles isn't technically a rookie head coach, but I meant it in the terms of winning the Super Bowl his first year coaching a team. That's all. But outside of that, I mean, the Bucs roster, obviously you got to start with Tom Brady, who's incredible. Their receivers, just as good as ever. I mean, they lost Antonio Brown, and they have Chris Godwin coming back from a torn ACL, who probably won't return until later in the year. But Mike Evans has set a record for most straight seasons with 1,000 yards to start a career. I think it's at 7 or 8 now. They signed Russell Gage, who I think is underrated in terms of how good he is as a receiver. Gronk retired, but I think we all expect Gronk to come back at some point in the season. I don't think he's going to stay retired. I think he just wants to avoid a training camp. But outside of Gronk, they have Cameron Brate, who's obviously not Gronk, but he's not terrible. O.J. Howard has always been more potential than he actually has been good. So we don't know what they're getting there. But then on the running back side, Leonard Fournette, they still have a good offensive line. Defensively, I think this team is just as good as ever with Vita Vea up front. They got good linebackers in Levante David and Devin White. Good secondary that was kind of banged up last year. That was really their bugaboo, was their secondary. But they were banged up. They had a ton of cornerback injuries. At some point, they had to dust off Richard Sherman, who played for them, and then he got hurt. So I think obviously this is assuming health, but I think their defense should end up being better than they were last year. Last year they ran into the Super Bowl champs. They lost to the Super Bowl champs. They were down 27-6 in that game, came all the way back and tied it up, only to lose on a last-second field goal. So the Bucs being the clear favorite, I have no qualms with. The next two, the Packers and the Rams, I'm kind of out on both of them. The Rams, I think, got lucky to win the Super Bowl. I think McVay is actually a really bad. He's a really good schemer. I think he's a really not bad. I shouldn't say bad. He's an overrated play caller. I think that he does a great job scheming up an offense. I don't think he's a good play caller. And I'm just remembering back to that Bengals game and the 49ers game. He ran the ball so much in both of those games to literally no success, but he just kept running it down the throat, up the middle. No creativity. In both games, he got bailed out by Matt Stafford and Cooper Kupp doing something insane. So I don't think the Rams have another Super Bowl in them. They did upgrade the roster a pretty decent amount, signing Bobby Wagner, signing Allen Robinson, re-signing Stafford, re-signing Cooper Kupp, re-signing Aaron Donald. So their roster is going to be good. I just don't think they're going to go back-to-back. And the Packers, if you look at their history without Devontae Adams, who they traded away, they've actually performed pretty well. But I think it's different having him out for 4 games versus not having him for the entire season. They really didn't replace him with anybody. They're relying a lot on kind of, some rookies and some Sammy Watkins type players who have been disappointing in their careers. At tight end, they have Robert Tonyan back, which obviously is going to be helpful. I will say about the Packers, I think they could easily have one of the best defenses in the NFL. I think from the line to the secondary, I think this defense is awesome. Of course, they've had horrible defenses with great offenses for years. Now I don't think their offense is going to be horrible, but I think their defense will actually be better than their offense. I'm actually pretty confident in that. But for them at plus 500, I don't see it. If I were to give 2 long shot picks, I would say the Eagles at plus 1,400. Now, I don't want to sound like a homer. I am an Eagles fan. But if you just look at their roster, again, you can't remove quarterback because Jalen Hurts is the biggest question mark. He has a lot riding on his shoulders. But if you just look at the roster, I think the Eagles have a top 5 roster in the NFL. They finally have really good receivers with the A.J. Brown trade and Devontae Smith. They have a good tight end in Dallas Goedert. I think they have the best offensive line in the NFL, just an absolutely stacked offensive line that could probably afford 2 injuries and still be one of the best offensive lines in the NFL. The running backs are fine, nothing special. Defensively, they have a really deep and talented defensive line. I think they might struggle with pressure on the edge. They don't have great edge rushers. They have Josh Sweat. They have Hassan Reddick, who's just brought over on a new deal, who could be good, obviously. But in the middle, rookie Jordan Davis. They have second-year Milton Williams, who's a good player. They have Javon Hargrave, who had a great year last year. Their linebackers are okay. They're not going to be great. They're not going to be horrible like we're used to seeing in years past. And their secondary, depending health, I think can be really good with Slay and Bradbury, and then Avonte Maddox in the slot. Now their safeties are a little weak, but I think every team has bad safeties. It's rare for a team to have good safeties. But if there is one bugaboo, it will be their safeties. So you just have to hope that their defensive line and their cornerbacks can withstand the poor safety play. But at plus 1,400 odds, I think that's good value. I'm out on the Cowboys. I think that there hasn't been enough talk about some pretty big changes to the Cowboys this year. Obviously, Zeke getting 1 year older. They don't utilize Tony Pollard as much as they should. On receiver, they lost Amari Cooper, and Michael Gallup is going to be out for the first half, if not longer, after tearing his ACL in December. Now, CeeDee Lamb's a stud. Dalton Schultz is good, but I think their offense is going to take a step back. Defensively, I think they could be pretty good, but I think just they had an outlier defensive season. Looking at how many turnovers they had, how many defensive touchdowns they had, I think it's going to be hard to replicate that. So I don't really love the Cowboys at plus 850 value. I do think Micah Parsons could be the defensive player of the year, but I think Trayvon Diggs won't have nearly as many interceptions as he had last year. I think DeMarcus Lawrence is probably washed. So the Cowboys at plus 850, I'm not there. The 49ers, I don't really see it. Either they're going to keep Jimmy G, who I think is just awful. I think Jimmy G's terrible. Or they're going to go with first-year starter Trey Lance. And I think it's rare for a first-year starter like that to have a Super Bowl year. Another long shot pick, which admittedly I don't love, are the Cardinals. I actually think the Cardinals have a better chance of being bad than they do being good. But with the quarterback as good as Kyler Murray, really the sky's the sky's the ceiling. The sky's the limit, whatever the phrase is. I'm butchering. The sky's the limit. But I don't think any team below the Cardinals is even worth. I mean, you might as well just throw your money in the toilet. Saints, no. Vikings, no. Commanders, not even close. Giants, Lions, Bears, Panthers, Seahawks, all no. The Panthers, maybe if they can make some sort of quarterback change, but I don't really know what quarterback change is out there at this point, so I'm out on them. So anybody below the Cardinals, I would just put in your wasting your money category. Anybody, Cardinals and Eagles would be a low, long shot. Other than that, I don't think it's worth putting money on any team other than the Bucs. So if we go back to OddsJam, looks like the best odds you can get on the Bucs are actually plus 325 on BetMGM and PointsBet. So if you did want to take the Bucs, if you agreed with me, I think that you should do it. Obviously, do it on those two books to get the best odds. For the Eagles, looks like FanDuel is the best odds there, and then for the Cardinals, the best odds it looks like is actually DraftKings at plus 2,000. Now, to be clear, I don't love the Cardinals at all. Like I said, I think they have a better chance of being a poor football team than a good football team. I just think that Kyler Murray could get hot. They do have some playmakers on defense. We'll have to see what it looks like when Hopkins comes back after a 6-game suspension, but maybe there's something there. I don't see it, but to give a couple... to back up, my official prediction is going to be the Tampa Bay Bucs. I think that they are the best, even though they have the best odds. I think they have the best odds for a reason. They have the most going for them of the NFC elites. So my official prediction is the Tampa Bay Bucs. My long shot pick is going to officially be the Eagles. And then my stay away teams are going to be the Rams, the Packers, the 49ers, and the Cowboys. So I don't think those teams are worth putting money on. And we'll see. So let me know what you think. Let me know what I got wrong, what I got right. I would love to hear your feedback. If you want to find me on Twitter, you can at my handle on the screen here, Modi_Matt. Would appreciate also if you could comment on the video. Let me know your thoughts there. Other than that, please remember to like and then subscribe to the OddsJam YouTube channel. But that is all I got for you. So thank you guys for watching, and have a good one.